The Awakening Connection. The celestial pathfinder gleamed under the artificial lights of orbital station Nexus 7, its silver-blue hull reflecting the stars beyond the massive docking bay windows. Unlike other vessels in the Galactic Confederation's fleet, the Pathfinder wasn't an example of collaborative engineering. It was an enigma, a ship discovered drifting in the void between galaxies, ancient yet somehow pristine, with technology that defied analysis. For 3 cycles, the ship had frustrated the Confederation's best minds. Despite unlocking its entry systems and mapping its interior, no one had managed to activate its propulsion systems. The ship remained stubbornly dormant. Admiral Vrexna, her scaled skin shimmering with irritation, paced the observation deck. The 4-armed Quatsari commander had exhausted all conventional options. 18 different species had attempted to pilot the vessel. Each had failed. "You're certain this will work?" she asked, mandibles clicking with skepticism. Ambassador Thelos nodded, his luminescent eyes blinking slowly. The ship's neural interface responds to specific brainwave patterns. Analysis suggests human cognition might be compatible. Vrexna made a sound somewhere between a hiss and a sigh. Humans, always the wild cards. The transport shuttle from Earth arrived precisely on schedule. Commander Eliza Chen stepped onto the observation deck, her movements measured and confident. At 36, she was humanity's most decorated pilot, with experience in both military and exploration vessels. "Commander Chen reporting as requested," she said, offering a respectful nod to the admiral. Vrexna studied the human carefully. Fragile-looking compared to most species, with no natural defenses, yet there was something about humans that made them remarkably effective in crisis situations. Their homeworld had only joined the Confederation 80 years ago, practically yesterday in galactic terms, but they had quickly proven themselves valuable allies. "Commander, you've been briefed on the Celestial Pathfinder." "Yes, Admiral. A ship of unknown origin that no one can activate. I understand you've tried pilots from all major Confederation species." "All 18 founding species," corrected Thelos, plus 12 associate member worlds. "None have succeeded in establishing the neural connection necessary to command the vessel." Eliza glanced through the viewport at the enigmatic ship. "And you think a human can?" "The ship's interface reacts to chaos patterns in neural activity," explained Thelos. "Most advanced species evolve toward orderly, structured thought processes. Humans retain unusual cognitive flexibility." "You mean we're unpredictable?" Eliza translated with a slight smile. "Precisely," admitted Thelos. "Where others think in straight lines, humans create spirals and zigzags. It may be exactly what the ship requires." 3 hours later, Eliza stood before the Pathfinder's main entrance. The technical team had explained what little they understood of the ship's systems. The vessel appeared to be designed for a crew of 20, though its automation capability suggested it could function with far fewer. Its hull material was unlike anything in Confederation records, a metallic alloy interwoven with crystalline structures that seemed almost organic in nature. As Eliza approached, soft blue lights illuminated along the hull, tracking her movement. The entrance portal arised open without prompting. "That's already further than most get," murmured Chief Engineer Kraz, a stocky Volucrian whose species had mastered interstellar travel when humans were still using steam engines. The interior was surprisingly warm and welcoming, curved corridors with ambient lighting that adjusted to comfortable human levels as Eliza walked. The ship seemed to be responding to her presence in ways it hadn't for others. When she reached the bridge, her breath caught. Unlike the utilitarian command centers of Confederation vessels, this was beautiful. A circular chamber with a pilot's chair centered beneath a transparent dome that would offer a panoramic view of space. Surrounding the chair were fluid, organic-looking control interfaces that glowed with a soft blue luminescence. "The chair has resisted all attempts at activation," Kraz explained, following her onto the bridge with several other specialists. "It appears to require a neural synchronization that." Eliza stepped forward and settled into the pilot's chair. The ship came alive. Displays brightened, systems hummed to life, and a wave of energy pulsed through the ship. The control interfaces transformed, reshaping themselves as if molding to invisible hands. Above them, holographic displays blossomed like exotic flowers, showing ship schematics, star charts, and data streams. A voice spoke, melodic, genderless, and somehow ancient, filling the bridge. Neural pattern recognized. Primary pilot interface established. Greetings, navigator. The technical team erupted in exclamations of shock and excitement. Kraz's mouth hung open, his four eyes blinking rapidly in astonishment. Eliza felt a strange sensation, a tingling at the base of her skull that spread through her consciousness. Not invasive, but connective, as if the ship were extending tendrils of awareness to mesh with her own. "Hello," she responded simply. "You are human," the ship stated, not a question but a confirmation. "Yes. My name is Eliza Chen. Designation accepted. This vessel acknowledges Navigator Eliza Chen." There was a pause. Then, "This vessel has waited a very long time for a compatible pilot." Admiral Vrexna arrived within minutes of being notified, her movements unusually hurried for a quatseri of her rank. "Explain," she demanded, looking between Eliza and the now active ship systems. "The ship responded to me," Eliza said simply. "It seems to have been waiting for someone like me." "A human specifically?" questioned Thelos, fascination evident in his voice. The ship's voice answered. "This vessel was calibrated to interface with minds capable of intuitive leaps and random access thinking. Such patterns are rare in evolved sentience." "Why?" pressed Vrexna. "Why design a ship that only certain species can pilot?" "For safety," the ship replied. "The destinations this vessel was created to reach require flexibility of thought. Rigid cognitive structures would be vulnerable." Eliza felt a chill. Vulnerable to what? Instead of answering, the ship activated a star map that filled the bridge, a three-dimensional representation of the galaxy with a pulsing light, marking a region in the outer spiral arm, far from established Confederation routes. Primary navigation coordinates detected in pilot neural pattern. Destination identified. Everyone stared at the indicated location. "That's nowhere near any charted system," Kraz observed. "I don't understand," Eliza said. "I wasn't thinking of any destination." "Not consciously," the ship corrected. Deep pattern recognition detected compatible coordinates in subconscious neural mapping. Admiral Vrexna's expression hardened. "This is highly irregular. We need to understand this ship fully before any mission is authorized." "With respect, Admiral," Thelos interjected, "the opportunity to explore previously unknown regions with a vessel specifically designed for such journeys is unprecedented. The scientific value alone could be outweighed by the risks." Vrexna cut him off. "Commander Chen, can you disengage from the ship's systems?" Eliza shifted in the chair, and the neural connection receded immediately. The displays remained active, however. "Pilot disengagement acknowledged. Systems will remain in standby mode," the ship informed them. The next 3 days were a whirlwind of tests and examinations. Technical teams swarmed over the Pathfinder, analyzing its now accessible systems. They discovered propulsion technology unlike anything in Confederation records, a form of space-folding drive that could theoretically achieve speeds 10 times faster than current vessels. The ship's eye, while cooperative, remained cryptic about its origins and purpose, answering technical questions readily but deflecting inquiries about who had built it or why. Eliza found herself increasingly fascinated by the vessel. During testing periods when she interfaced with the ship's systems, she experienced a sense of rightness, as if she'd found something she hadn't known she was missing. The neural connection felt natural, allowing her to control the ship's functions with mere thoughts. Not everyone was pleased with these developments. Several Confederation representatives expressed concern about a ship that responded exclusively to humans. Old prejudices surfaced, Whispers about humanity's relative youth as a spacefaring species, their historical volatility, their primitive emotional responses. They fear what they don't understand, observed Saren, a young Lysithian scientist who had joined the analysis team. Unlike many of her kind, who tended toward cool detachment, Saren showed genuine curiosity about humans. Your species thinks differently. Where we see patterns, you see possibilities. Is that a compliment or a criticism? Eliza asked with a smile. An observation, Saren replied. Most advanced civilizations evolve toward logical efficiency. Humans retain creative chaos in your thought processes. It makes you unpredictable, but also adaptable. On the fourth day, Admiral Vrexna called a meeting of the project leadership. Her decision was unexpected but firm. The Celestial Pathfinder would be commissioned for an exploratory mission to the coordinates it had identified, with Commander Chen as its primary pilot. A mixed crew of scientists and specialists would accompany her, including representatives from 7 Confederation species. This is not merely an opportunity to understand the ship, Vrexna explained. It's a chance to explore a region of space previously inaccessible to us. Whatever civilization created this vessel clearly intended it for discovery. Preparations moved quickly after that. The crew was selected based on expertise and adaptability, qualities that would be essential in unknown territory. Eliza spent hours each day interfacing with the ship, learning its capabilities and nuances. The neural connection grew stronger with each session, until operating the vessel felt as natural as moving her own limbs. The night before departure, Eliza stood alone on the observation deck, gazing at the Pathfinder. Tomorrow they would venture beyond known space, guided by a ship that had chosen her for reasons she still didn't fully understand. "You should rest, navigator," came a familiar voice. The ship had somehow extended its communication systems to the station. "I'm too excited to sleep," Eliza admitted, "and a little nervous." "That is appropriate. The unknown should inspire both wonder and caution." Eliza hesitated, then asked the question that had been nagging at her. "Why me? Why humans specifically?" The ship was silent for a moment before responding. The creators of this vessel understood something vital about the universe. That true navigation requires more than charts and calculations. It requires intuition. The ability to sense patterns in chaos and make leaps of understanding that transcend logic. And humans have this ability. In abundance, where other species evolved toward perfect order, humans maintained a balance between order and chaos. This makes you uniquely suited to face what lies beyond the known. Eliza felt a shiver of anticipation mixed with apprehension. What exactly are we going to find out there? The ship's response was simple but profound. Answers, and perhaps your destiny. Beyond the veil of stars, the Celestial Pathfinder slipped its moorings from orbital station Nexus 7 with a grace that belied its size. As the massive docking clamps released, Eliza felt the ship's eagerness through their neural connection, a sensation like a deep breath before a plunge. "Departure protocols complete," she announced to the bridge crew. "Preparing for transit to deep space coordinates." Around her, the mixed species crew worked with professional efficiency, though she sensed underlying tension. This mission represented a leap into the unknown, guided by a vessel that had chosen a human as its pilot, a fact that still unsettled some crew members. "Engineering reports all systems optimal," stated Kraz from his station. The Volucrian had insisted on joining the mission, his technical curiosity overcoming his initial skepticism about the ship. "Sensors calibrated and ready," added Saren, a young Lysithian scientist who had become Eliza's closest ally among the crew. Admiral Vrexna's face appeared on the communication display. "Commander Chen, you are cleared for departure. The Confederation Council has authorized this expedition with the understanding that you will maintain regular communication as long as possible." "Understood, Admiral. We'll transmit data packets at standard intervals." "Navigate wisely," Vrexna said, her formal tone softened slightly. "And return safely." The journey to the outer spiral arm would take 11 days using the Pathfinder's revolutionary drive system. As they left the Confederation's established territories, Eliza spent hours each day merged with the ship's consciousness, learning its capabilities through direct experience rather than technical briefings. The neural interface allowed her to feel the vessel as an extension of herself, sensing the minute adjustments in its systems, the flow of energy through its drives, the constant calculations of its navigation computers. It was unlike anything she had experienced with conventional ships. During one such session, 5 days into their journey, she became aware of something unusual, a layer of the ship's programming that seemed older, deeper than the rest. "What is this?" she asked mentally. "Primary directive protocols," the ship responded, "accessible only to the navigator." "And what exactly is the primary directive?" "To find the architects." The ship shared images, flashes of beings composed of light and energy, moving among the stars without vessels, creators of worlds, shapers of galaxies. Eliza disengaged from the neural link, disturbed by the implications. She called a meeting of the senior crew to share what she had discovered. The ship was created to search for a species it calls the architects, she explained to the assembled specialists. "From what I could gather, they were an ancient civilization with technology far beyond anything we've encountered. A mythological construct, perhaps," suggested Dr. Nemeth, the mission's xenoanthropologist. "Many cultures create legends about godlike progenitors." "This felt specific," Eliza countered, "more like historical record than mythology." Saren, who had been analyzing the ship's database, spoke up. "There are references in several ancient Confederation archives to beings who walked between stars. Most scholars dismissed these as metaphorical, but perhaps—" "Either way," interjected Kraz pragmatically, "we're committed to this expedition now. 7 more days until we reach the coordinates." The remaining journey passed without incident, though Eliza noticed changes in the ship as they ventured further from known space. Systems that had remained dormant began activating. New displays appeared, showing readings for phenomena she didn't recognize. The ship was preparing for something. On the 11th day, they arrived. Dropping out of transit, Eliza announced, feeling the ship's drive systems power down through the neural link. The view screen showed nothing remarkable. A sparsely populated region of space, a few distant stars, what appeared to be a nebula on the far edge of sensor range, but nothing that explained why they had been drawn here. Disappointment rippled through the crew. After all the mystery and anticipation, they had arrived at seemingly empty space. "Ship," Eliza addressed the AI directly. "Why have you brought us here?" "The veil requires a key," the ship responded cryptically. Before anyone could question this, the ship initiated a sequence without command. Energy surged through systems Eliza hadn't known existed. A beam of coherent light, invisible to the naked eye, but registered on sensors, projected from the bow of the vessel into the apparent emptiness ahead. Space rippled, folded, and parted. Where emptiness had been moments before, a massive structure revealed itself. A space station of impossible proportions, its architecture a blend of technology and organic forms. It rotated slowly around a central axis, lights flickering along its surface as if awakening from long dormancy. "By the 7 moons," whispered Kraz. All 4 eyes widened in shock. "It was cloaked somehow," Saren said, frantically recording data. "Not just visually, it was absent from all detection methods." The ship's voice filled the bridge. "Primary destination reached. The nexus of pathways awaits." Scans revealed the station was generating a breathable atmosphere and showed no immediate threats. After careful deliberation, Eliza led a team to investigate, including Saren, Kraz, and several security specialists. The Pathfinder docked with the station with perfect precision, connecting to an airlock that seemed designed specifically for it. As they crossed the threshold into the station, lights activated along corridors that curved organically, leading them deeper into the structure. "The architecture is responsive," noted Saren, watching as surfaces subtly shifted to accommodate their passage, as if it's partly alive. They reached what appeared to be a central chamber, a vast spherical space with a platform at its center. As they stepped onto the platform, the walls around them transformed into a stunning panoramic display of the universe, not as they knew it, but as if seen from beyond normal perception. Stars connected by luminous filaments, galaxies pulsing with patterns of energy, cosmic structures forming intricate, meaningful designs. It's a map, Eliza realized, not just of space, but of something more. A voice addressed them, not the Pathfinders, but similar in quality, ancient and resonant. "Welcome, navigators. You have been long awaited." A figure materialized before them, humanoid in basic form but composed of shifting light, its features indistinct yet somehow expressive. "What are you?" Eliza asked. An echo, a memory, a guide. The figure gestured, and the cosmic display zoomed to focus on a particular pattern of stars. "I was left to await those who could see beyond the patterns, who could navigate the spaces between order and chaos." "You mean humans," Kraz stated, his tone a mixture of wonder and unease. "We have many names for them," the figure corrected. "In your language, perhaps intuitive ones would be closest. Those whose minds can make connections that transcend logical progression." The entity turned to Eliza. "Your vessel recognized your potential. It brought you here because only minds like yours can comprehend what must be shared." The cosmic display shifted again, showing a massive disturbance spreading through the galactic fabric, a darkness that consumed light, order, and life itself. "What we call the void," explained the guide, "a cosmic force that destroys not just matter, but possibility. It consumes potential futures, leaving only one rigid path, entropy and ultimate stillness." "This is what the architects fought," Eliza guessed. "Yes. For eons, they maintained the balance between order and chaos, ensuring that the cosmos remained vibrant with possibility. But they needed successors, species that could inherit their understanding." Saren stepped forward. "Why not choose the most advanced civilizations, those with the greatest technological achievements?" The guide's light form pulsed gently. "Technology is merely a tool. What was needed were minds that could think beyond patterns, who could imagine the unimaginable. Many species begin with this capacity but lose it as they advance, trading creativity for efficiency. But humans retained it," Eliza said softly, "as have others throughout the cosmos, scattered, rare, but vital. You were not the first to be tested, nor will you be the last, but you have arrived at a crucial moment." The display showed the darkness, the void, encroaching on regions of space near Confederation territory. "The balance shifts," warned the guide. "The rigid patterns grow stronger. Those who can navigate chaos are needed once more." Suddenly, the station shuddered. Alarms blared, and the guide's form flickered. "What's happening?" demanded Kraz. "The void senses awakening potential," the guide explained urgently. "It seeks to eliminate threats before they develop. You must return to your vessel. It contains the tools you will need." They rushed back toward the docking port, the station trembling around them. Through the viewports, they glimpsed the cause, a distortion in space, a darkness deeper than the vacuum between stars, approaching the station like a predator stalking prey. When they reached the Pathfinder, the ship was already powering up, its systems primed for emergency departure. "The nexus is compromised," the ship informed them as they boarded, initiating defensive protocols. Back on the bridge, Eliza merged fully with the ship's consciousness, deeper than she had before. In that moment of complete connection, she understood. The Pathfinder wasn't merely a vessel. It was a key, a weapon, and a seed. Within its systems lay the knowledge of the architects, waiting for minds that could comprehend it without being overwhelmed. As the darkness engulfed the station, Eliza navigated by instinct rather than calculation. The ship responded to her thoughts with perfect synchronicity, executing maneuvers that defied conventional physics. They didn't just evade the encroaching void. They rewrote the space around it, creating possibilities where there had been only one inevitable outcome. The ship's weapons activated, not destructive force, but constructive energy that restored pattern and possibility to the consumed void. The darkness recoiled, then retreated. Hours later, when the immediate danger had passed, the crew gathered on the bridge, still processing what they had witnessed. "The ship saved us," said one of the security specialists. Or rather, Commander Chen did. Eliza shook her head. "We did it together. The ship knew what to do. I just helped it find the right path." Through the neural link, she felt the ship's affirmation. It had been designed for this moment, to find a mind capable of intuitive navigation and merge with it, combining technological power with creative cognition. "This changes everything," Saren said quietly. "Not just for humanity, but for all Confederation species." Kraz nodded slowly. The rigid and the flexible, working in concert, each with their role to play. The journey back to Confederation space took 9 days, faster than their outbound journey, as the ship had unlocked new capabilities during the confrontation. Eliza spent much of that time in neural communion with the vessel, absorbing the knowledge it offered about the architects, the void, and the cosmic balance. When they arrived at Nexus 7, Admiral Vrexna and a delegation of Confederation officials were waiting. Their faces showed they had expected either a failed mission or no return at all. The debriefing lasted 2 full days. Scientists and strategists struggled to comprehend the implications of what the expedition had discovered. Some were skeptical, others alarmed, but all recognized that the universe had suddenly become vastly more complex and more dangerous than they had believed. On the final evening, Eliza stood alone with the Pathfinder in its docking bay. Through their connection, she sensed its satisfaction. "This was just the beginning, wasn't it?" she asked aloud. "Yes, Navigator," the ship confirmed. "The first step on a longer journey. And there are others like me out there. Other species who can do what humans do. Scattered throughout the cosmos. Different in form, but alike in thinking. The architects saw the pattern. Diversity creates resilience. The universe needs both order and chaos to thrive." Eliza placed her hand on the ship's hull, feeling the subtle warmth that indicated it was far more than mere metal and technology. "Then we'd better find them," she said with determination, "before the void does." Inside her mind, she felt the ship's agreement, and something more. A sense of possibility spreading outward like ripples in still water, changing the very fabric of reality with each new potential future. The controls had been silent for centuries, waiting for the right touch, a human touch. Now awakened, they hummed with renewed purpose, ready to navigate not just through space, but through the infinite pathways of what might be.